it's Olivia again and welcome back to my channel, Endless Reads. The first book I'm going to be recommending to you guys is They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. This is a sad one, guys, but also a beautiful one. This is about Mateo and Rufus, and they are two boys in a world where on the day that you're going to die, you get a text message from this thing called Deathcast, and it tells you that you have 24 hours left to live. And Mateo and Rufus both decide that they want to make a meaningful connection in their last 24 hours, and there's an app, I think it's called Deathcast. So the first book I want to recommend is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is a young adult fantasy. It's set in a world where there's this company called Deathcast, and if you're going to die in the next 24 hours, they give you a call and let you know. So there's two perspectives in this book, Mateo and Rufus, and they both want to make a meaningful connection during their last 24 hours, and there's an app called Last Friend that connects you up with other people that are in their final hours. This is a beautiful book about making meaningful connections and taking advantage of the time that you have on this earth, and I really like our main character Rufus and Mateo. You really get to see them develop and bring out the best in each other, and they're such total opposites in personality that they really are able to help each other through their final hours, make a really meaningful connection and bring out the best and challenge each other. So this is a beautifully written book. You also jump to a few other people's perspectives, but it's mainly Rufus and Mateo, and you get to see what they're leaving behind and what they gain in their last 24 hours. I bawled my eyes out at the end, you know, hence the title. I think it's pretty obvious what happens, but it's a beautifully written book. It's so sad and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really recommend it. It's full of great messages, full of great characters, and a beautifully written book. Then we have an oldie but a goodie, the Gone series by Michael Grant. The first book Gone, the second book Hunger, the third book Lies, the fourth book Plague, the fifth book Fear, and then the final book is Light. This is a young adult like fantasy horror kind of book. It's set in a world where anyone suddenly at one time over the age of 15 vanishes, and all that's left is the kids in this bubble which they call the Fallout Alley Youth Zone, the phase. And in this zone where there's only kids, some of the children begin to develop strange and wonderful powers. And there's also a kid with one of these powers that is very hungry for power. So basically the whole series is about the kids trying to survive in this world without adults, figure out what happened and why they're trapped in this bubble, and deal with the consequences of kids having powers, kids making their own rules. Yeah, there's a warning on the back, signs of cruelty and some violence. I wouldn't recommend it to young kids. I was probably a little too young when I first read this series. Also, if you're a fan of that Netflix show The Society, I think Michael Grant, the author, did have something to say about that show kind of ripping off his books, but I would recommend this book. It's I'd say it's a lot darker than the books, a lot more fantasy. There's some amazing huge cast, so you read from like a cast of main characters' perspectives, which keeps it interesting. You see things that are happening from everyone's different perspectives across the phase. You have some cool interesting powers, some cool interesting powerful kids that gain power without actual powers, and you see really everyone's true personalities kind of come to light in this world where some people take advantage and some people really struggle. So creative. Each book has a kind of new issue of problem that they have to deal with, but we have the same villains kind of throughout the whole series. It's a great series. It's super creative, an amazing cast of main characters that you love when their perspectives come up in the book and you're so happy to read from them. It's really dark and can be yucky, but there are some amazing discussions of power and kind of this underlying metaphor of race as well, with, you know, sometimes there's a divide between kids with powers and kids without powers, discussions of religion, and just about everything you can think of is in this book. It's an amazing series. No matter how many times I reread it since high school, I still love it. This book is very loved, very destroyed because I have read it so many times. I'm not really a big fan of the series that he's releasing now, that's set after the end of this series, after the final book, Light, but this series will always have a really special place in my heart, and it is so creative, such a fun read, and always keeps you on the edge of your seat with some big bad thing happening. So I would highly recommend the Gone series by Michael Grant. So the final book in this quick little recommendation video is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a beautiful, stunningly written book. It's about this night circus. It appears out of nowhere, only opens at night and just pops up in random locations across the world. The whole circus is in black and white, and it's full of these amazing acts and amazing different people and different displays, but underneath this night circus there is a dangerous and deadly competition between Marco and Celia. They are placed against each other by their kind of like teachers in a deadly fight. It's beautiful. The like romance kind of in it is, I wouldn't say it's really the main story. I think you're just so caught up in the creativity and the imagination of the circus. The romance in it is really good as well. I really love their relationship. I think it's a beautiful, stunning book. It's so creative. I haven't read anything like it. Erin Morgenstern's like writing just draws you in, and you feel like you're, you know, a kid in yourself looking around at the amazing wonders of the circus yourself. I would absolutely recommend this to everyone. It is a bit of a very fantasy, high kind of heavy fantasy read, so just a warning there as well, but I could not recommend this enough. It is up there with one of my favourites and always will be. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So just to wrap up, that was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and the Gone series by Michael Grant. 3 of my all-time favourite reads. I will always recommend these ones to people, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have any similar recommendations. I will see you next time. Bye!